The treasure sale is a sale where we only sell the very best in the categories of furniture, silver, ceramics, clocks, objets de vertu, and works of art. And we have selected the pieces which form the treasure sale according to their quality, their rarity, and the story behind each piece. I decided to open the treasure sale with this magnificent vase. The color, which is the most fashionable color nowadays, was conceived in Sèvres in around 1768. And we know that this color was a color favored by the French royals. And in fact, we know that Louis XV gave two vases with this identical color to his entourage. Inside, we found a letter. The owner of the vase did not know of the existence of this letter. The letter says that the vase was taken at the death of King Alfonso XII, in 1885, was taken by his butler, Ceferino. And then the butler gives the vase to his son-in-law, and they didn't want to keep the vase for themselves, but they gave it, again, to a close friend of the king. There will be a team of people working on this vase. A designer of the shape, and this shape is extremely rare. The people which worked on the color, and this color was a very difficult color to produce. Of course, there was the bronze maker, Duplessis, who was also the head of Sèvres. So again, a combination of many minds to create a beautiful work of art.
What we have here is a cameo, a hard stone carving, which was originally a lid of a bowl, which is now in the Louvre. We're pretty sure that this is a work by a Milanese hard stone carver called Giovanni Ambrogio Miseroni, originally made for Rudolph II of Prague, we think. It is made of chalcedony, which is a hard stone. It's one of the hardest materials to carve, much harder than marble, for example. And it was a very refined art to be able to get very intricate detail in very resistant materials such as hard stone. And in this case, it's Venus and Cupid. And Giovanni Ambrogio Miseroni has incredibly skillfully found a milky, creamy vein for the body of Venus, but a delicate, yellowy blonde vein of hard stone is used for the hair. And that's an incredible skill, which very, very few people had. We know that in the end of the 17th century, it was owned by one of the greatest ecclesiastical figures of the time, Cardinal Mazarin, and it was sold in 1663 to Louis XIV. Although it was known and documented in the archives of Louis XIV, it was never represented, it was never engraved. And therefore, the great clue is one small number, and that number, 376, is its number in the Louis XIV infantry. I haven't seen one in my 15 years here at Sotheby's of this size and quality. It's a really super rare occasion to get something with this quality and this provenance.
One of the highlights of the silver section in the treasure sale is a silver service, which includes a soup tureen with a cover and liner and stand, and also 2 wine coolers. They were made by the French silversmith Jacques-Charles Mongenot in Paris between 1783 and 85. Mongenot is an interesting maker because actually very little of his work survives. These soup tureens would have been the first thing that people encountered when they came into the host's house, and it would have made a great statement about the host himself. It's rare for any pre-revolutionary French silver of this scale to really still exist, and services are very rare. So it's exciting that these are in private hands, whereas the rest are in museum collections.
What we've got here are 2 amazing Blue John vases that were most probably in Thomas Hope's Duchess Street mansion. Hope really was instrumental as England's first interior designer. He thought the English had no taste. He was a great Francophile and he wanted to educate the English. He had the drawings done and these designs made, which were then published in his interior decoration and household furniture. made of blue john, a very English stone, only found in Derbyshire. And they're cut in sections, then pieced together. What's really rare about these is the sheer quantity of blue john being a solid blue john rather than hollowed out as many vases of this date are. In the introduction to household furniture, Hope mentions how difficult it was to find a really good bronzier working in London, but he seems to have tracked down this gentleman called Alexis de Kay, and we believe the mounts are probably by him. Things that we can actually document to his collection are rare. Many of those are now in the major museums around the world. Add to that the exceptional quality of the mounts, the amazing design, and this beautiful, beautiful blue john, and I think all those attributes make them treasures.
An item like this is extremely rare. Over 200 years ago, technology wasn't as it is today, and to see something like this operating at that time would have been quite extraordinary. The vase is made of painted metal and ormolu, which is gilt bronze, that was possibly made for the Empress Josephine. The maker of this clock, Jean-François de Belle, was so well known for particularly his automaton works that he would have been commissioned to make it. Gall produced these vases. De Belle would have seen the vases and thought, I can fit something into this, and would have commissioned him to make the vase. The first feature to operate is the singing bird, and that's operated by pulling this cord. Within the top portion of the case is a miniature 9-pipe organ, which also has cams so that as it runs, small levers operate the bird. The upper scene is Neptune standing on a shell. Passing around and moving is the boat carrying Charon, and he is ferrying a mortal across to Hades. The lower scene, which is only revealed once the doors open, is Vulcan's forge. An item like this is extremely rare. Virtually all the known models are held in public collections and so therefore do not appear on the market.
Last year the sale was a great success, and this is why we are repeating this format this year, really gathering the very best from the decorative arts field. We will create an exhibition which will be curated almost like a museum exhibition.